What's up, everybody? Welcome for a deck building session with Robbie Reedsy. I thought I would get into what I want to run for the next format, being everyone's favorite lady, Launch. To do that, I thought piece by piece I'd build the deck for you guys like I like to do. It may not be your preference, but it's definitely mine. And why I'm choosing these cards. I just ordered my launch promos, so they'll be here hopefully in time for Sunday's event. We'll find out if the deck worked really well. As I said, we're going to start off with launch. Most important part, she is nothing to sneeze at. Then you're going to see that my build's going to be red and green. I do like the people that are running some creative stuff right now that are being a little bit more clever. We're going to run 4 copies of this flip card here, Feminine Wiles. The only reason being is we need more abilities to flip, and I like it, and that's pretty much it. There is nothing special about it besides that. The -5 I can't imagine being as important, but maybe it does matter. And then of course we have the oh sorry I can't. I had both versions. That would be the way to win. Just be DQ'd the very first round going into it. We're going to run 2 copies of Launch Brown Country. So we're going to go type in Launch. That's probably the easiest way to do this for this cards. We're definitely going to run 4 copies of the Pure Hearted. The reasoning why for this one, why I'm more excited about it is it flips and then you get to use it from the drop. It's exactly pretty much the same as the other card. The difference is, you know, this one you can use from your drop. So we get that advantage of if you get really lucky and you do your first attack, you use the SR. And then after you use the SR, you can then flip, combo again, and you're going to effectively draw 2 cards net for the get turn, which I like a lot. And then the other stuff to keep in mind is this card is very good. It got played against me on Sunday. It's Launch, the county's most wanted. I didn't think it was very good when I read about this card. As you can see here, if you can, I'm going to try to show the camera. I even got the stamp. Terrible image of there. It's pretty great because you get to KO one of your opponent's battle cards with 15k or less. So this combos with the tournament promo because you get to neg something that's 20k or less, and then you get to pop it because now it's 15k. That combo is not amazing. It's not game breaking, and yet it's also very good. I'd say it's like I don't know. I'm trying to put it on a power level of what it's comparable. To me, it's enough of a combo that you can keep people afraid from going all in without spending a lot of energy. Since I'm playing red, my primary card for Self Awakening is always going to be Intensifying Trunks. You'll see I never change from this. I could see running Kaba. The difference is I am a big fan of running a lot of Earthlings because of this card. And I like the fact that this super combo will let me play my Intensifying Trunks for free. And it will also let me play Bulma Confident Friend, who I'm also going to run to help me flip as a 4-of. I think this might be too much of 4-ofs, by the way. But Bulma Confident Friend is a draw card when it comes into play, if you choose to play it. And we do have a few tricks to get into play for free, so the value's there. But then she's also one of those cards that lets you flip from your life. So that gives us a total of 12 flipping cards. 16 if you count the fact that one of them can be used twice in a way. I'm not sure if it's enough, but it's enough to interest me. I guess that's the way to put it for me. With that many cards, I should be able to consistently start flipping as early as turn 1. With this deck, I do want to always be on my backside on my opponent's turn, so that way when I attack, I can always be neg 5k on their leader, and then flip after I swing. I'm always going to run 2 Bulma Bunny Girls in any deck I can right now, just 2. Because if they do KO a 5k, I can get a free value out of it and get a blocker. I'm not going to go too heavy on that Earthling mechanic, but I am going to show you the whole point about why we're running this deck, and it is for this. This Gogeta piece right here, I really like. It's why we're going to be red-green. Currently, the ability to do damage that is burn is very good. As you guys saw, Michael Legends, he crushed the event with burn for Invoker, in large part just because his opponent couldn't interact with it. That's what makes it such a good ability to have. And in this deck, we're going to use Piccolo to assemble that final bit using Gogeta. If you're unfamiliar with the combo, I will pull up Piccolo really quickly to show you it. It's pretty awesome. I'm a big fan of this card. I'm amazed it's only $15, but it is dual color, so I can't be that amazed. You can kill your opponent as early as turn 2 with this combo. It's not going to be likely, but it is possible on turn 2, provided that they went first, so that way on your turn 1 you can do more damage. Or if you do draw the nuts, you can kill with this combo on turn 2 as well, provided that you have the awakening pieces I'm going to show you. What makes this combo so easy to pull off is, I'll read it to you. It's Piccolo Jr., Eradicator of Peace. Your leader has to be red. He has Alliance red-green. Double Strike is built in. The card gains power equal to it, just like all alliances. If you use Alliance, you get to draw 2 cards, and then you get to deal 1 damage to your opponent if they have 3 or more life. The way that you sequence things with your Gogeta, which is right here, the Acrobatic Warrior says the exact same thing. He says that if he's flipped to Alliance, you can deal 1 damage. So you purposely make sure if they're if they're already at 3 or less life, you trigger first his Alliance ability, then his opponent's. So if it need be, but generally speaking, once they're at 4, you start off with this Alliance ability, and Gogeta will do a damage, and Piccolo Jr. will do a damage, allowing to put us at 2. And the built-in power level of this card will already be, I believe, 15k. So it'll be a 31k going in for lethal damage. So it's pretty cool, and you haven't used a lot of cards from your hand to set this combo up. And what makes it even cooler is you're not out of tricks after that. You don't have to go with that strategy to win right away. We are also going to run, as you'll see here in a second, a Unison to make the deck a little bit more consistent. We're going to run 4 copies of Piccolo. For some reason, I don't see the SPR version, but we're definitely going to run the SPR because this is a Piccolo we're going to keep for a while. If you haven't played this Piccolo, Descendant of the King, he's very amazing. Every time your opponent goes ahead and plays a counter, you get to KO a battle card on their side of the board that costs 15k or less. Very relevant ability because it can trigger multiple times in one turn. It can trigger during their turn as well if they respond to any of your arrival plays with like a Frieza. So just a free KO is always very good. The main reason we run this one is he's a 15k base, and every turn he draws a card to go up a counter. This is what Red needed. We were missing this card advantage. It's very good. And because Launch doesn't have a lot of built-in defense, your opponent will probably attack this a fair amount, letting you build up a bigger card advantage. It's very, very, very good. You'll see that this strategy is taking up a lot of our spots already because I'm devoting a lot of my cards to just the launch mechanic. I don't actually have that many extra spots, but I made room in my list, as I'm pulling away the cards right now, for the other version of Piccolo, being the draft box card I talk about so often, because, once again, we are trying to be an aggro deck. We definitely want to kill on 3 at the very least, and due to the fact that we have burn mechanic, we can do that pretty consistently. A King Piccolo is a great play on turn 2. If we can drop a King Piccolo, the new ruler, we can play a Unison, and if we get really lucky, we can have in our hand a Yamcha Merciless Barrage for their turn. It's going to be a very easy game to win. So that's what I like about a deck like this. We can just go wide. What makes this deck, in my opinion, better than other decks that go wide is that Launch can protect her battle cards a lot easier than other people because you can trigger the combo ability and awaken while you're protecting other battle cards, draw an extra card you drew for comboing, Then when they attack another battle card for their second attack, do the exact same thing, combo again now from the drop, maybe nega card, draw another card. This lets you protect your life and keep it very high. So this is why I'm liking this deck. When you put together all the mechanics of it, the little stuff I'm talking about, it might seem a little bit like I'm all over the page. It's because this deck does too much. In my list, I'm running Bardock Awakened Instincts. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal card. The reason why is I need more green. This lets me have an excuse for running Beerus. If you guys saw my peel-off list, big fan of this card. It lets me come out of nowhere to have a gameplay, especially on turn 2, like I said, where we can go for the win. If you've had to combo on your opponent's turn, if you've arrivaled a Gogeta, if you've done all those pieces, you can very easily make it where out of nowhere you just go for the win. And the nice part is it didn't cost you anything. You're not spending any energy. But you can notice I don't quite have enough green. It's definitely minimal green. I will say that you are going to run into issues where you have to choose which green cards you want to run. In my case, I have chose my favorite green cards being Frieza. Everybody's favorite card for a 4-drop who is played for free. He is by far the easiest thing to cast here. Let me just type it out. Apparently my thing is bugging out on me. Am I spelling surprise wrong? It looks like I am spelling surprise wrong. Huh. What am I doing wrong? Interesting. Battle card. Green. Surprise. Try this one more time. I always have trouble with this card when I try to look it up. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So weird. Battle unison. Click on battle again. There we go. All right. My fault. Here I am messing around with this. All right. I'm running 2 of this in large part just because we have the Gogeta play as well. Like I mentioned, I really want to get in that turn 2 kill. If you're following, a simple play would be just to combo a red card, being the launch, the flip. One of these promos that you can play from the drop, being the SR, would be the best one for your turn. If you play that card, you would then flip after flipping a life. When you flip that life and you're now in the backside, we would combo, let's say, a Beerus we have extra in our hand, draw another card. So we haven't actually lost any cards from our hand. We already have our card ready to flip the next turn, which is nice. We can arrival the Gogeta. We can KO whatever battle card they played on their turn 1. If we get lucky enough, we can play a Frieza. Then we can go right into a, what's the name of the card? The Acrobatic Dodge for Gogeta. And we can have 3 battle cards on our opponent's turn. It's not always going to happen. In fact, it's going to frequently not happen. The odds of drawing this hand is very small. I'm sure if anyone's a big fan of math, they can tell you that you're not going to get this God hand too often. But we're not looking for it that often. We're looking for the possibility of it, and that's enough to scare our opponents because they're just not going to be ready for it. And when you go that fast, your opponent has to keep a different type of hand in fear of it. But the reality of it is we're a long-term mid-range deck that goes fast whenever it wants to. It kind of can feel that string of where the death is. And the last card we're going to throw in here is Champa. All right, so now that I've built it, let's just go over it real quickly so you guys can see what I'm talking about. We'll make the deck public so you guys can see it if you're looking around. I don't know if I can name it. I am not that used to using Shenron's Lair. But the basic concept, like I said, with launch is whenever you combo, just like Hercule, you get to draw a card once per turn. Then on the opposite side, once she flips, you also draw a card, and you can't flip more than once a turn because that'd be too good. On the other side, she has a built-in removal for Black Mass Saiyan, or just any card she wants, and it says any card. So this can be a Unison, this can be a battle card, or a leader. And it's just for the battle, not for the whole turn. It's important because obviously that would make it way better than anything else. But it means that when she's attacking, she's also the same power level of any other leaders. So it's not at all a problem for her to not combo and still do a 15k damage. Which originally, when I read this card, I didn't realize that she could target leaders, so I kind of dismissed her a little bit, and it's why I didn't play her at the last PPG event, and I kind of got crushed for not playing something creative. When we're looking over the list, like I said, you're going to see a lot of cards devoted to just flipping. I don't know if we need this many. When I'm looking at it, we have these 4, we have these 4, and these 4. That's 12 cards just to flip. They're also 5Ks, which makes them good, and they come back with Bulma. All of the cards do bring in built-in card advantage, so they're not terrible plays, to say the least, but they're not exciting. I would like to lower the amount of this eventually after testing for some more green cards. I'd like to see, if I can, run only 2 copies of Bulma Confident now that I have the promos arriving, and then possibly switch it out, because this card doesn't work with the bunny. When I originally made this list, I was talking about it, I was thinking it did, then I'm reading it again, boom, can't play it with Bulma. So based off of that, we're going to back it up. We probably want to cut this down to 2 and find room for maybe like a Mercenary Tau, or just put Beerus up to 3. Oh, it's so tough here. Probably we'll do this. I'm going to go back into building it. Let's drop Bulma down real quickly. Confident Friend, just to try it out. This is what I'm going to run this Sunday if you guys are playing. I think it's going to be exactly this list. I think I want to run this at 4. So the reason why these exact numbers are, I want to have the optimal amount of free, because I feel like this deck has the advantage to just go wide, and I feel like that's what's missing in this format. Decks like Frieza and everyone else kind of punishes you for going wide. But I feel like this deck can do a good job of just going really big, really fast. And then as a result, we get to play Piccolo Jr. If we've already knocked our opponent to 4, we know they're going to awaken. It's annoying. There's not much we can do about it. But we can at least shoot them down to 2 and be attacking with a 35k. So that way they have to force the awaken. We're not going to kill them that turn, but our life is going to be very high going into the following turn. I'll obviously have to think about some counter negates to deal with Celzino for the sideboard, but I think this is what we're going to try, guys. I'm looking over the list now, and it looks just very, very aggro. Feels right up my alley. There's a few cards I would like to try out that aren't in this list, would just be putting in more Furthering Destruction Champas. Generally speaking, when you run Champa, it's a bad idea in early game, because you blow a card from your hand. This deck can do it for free. A turn 1 play is not going to be uncommon against, let's say, Brawly, would be if you went first or second, but one of your turns when you're attacking with your leader, you would awaken, switch sides, and then for your second combo, go ahead and just blow the Champa and early damage to try to knock them, let's say, to 3 life or even the 2, to put in that higher amount of aggression. Since Brawly likes to use all of their resources for like Vampa and everything else, it puts them in an awkward situation where they have to defend against it, or you've turned off a big part of their deck, especially in that early game. Whenever anybody went very quickly against Brawly, I had a hard time dealing with it, and this deck is no exception to that. Stabilizing is a little bit harder for Brawly than I would have thought. Another cool part about this deck, the more I'm looking at it, is a lot of these cards have utility that we could play around with in other builds. For example, we could add the skillless mechanic by dropping Intensifying Trunks and bringing in Chi-Chi, and then maybe taking out this burn damage and the Gogeta if we wanted to, if this isn't turn out to be as good. And then what we can have is Son Goku's here, and possibly the red draw card for more defense. So maybe in our sideboard, when we're on the draw, we try to go into that. This will be a really cool deck that can transform, because we don't need as many cards. Topo probably needs to be in this deck. That being said, I was a fool, and one of my friends asked for it at this last event, and I gave them to them. So I don't have any for this upcoming Sunday, so there's a good chance I will make my follow-up video, hopefully still top 16, and I will be telling you how much I missed having Topo main. Topo being really good because he's going to set up your ability to play Bardock more consistently. He's also going to be, on occasion, just good with these launch card to play from the drop. just discard it. And then if they do attack again, that's okay. I have a launch in the drop. It can be used from the drop. It didn't really cost me that extra discard, so I get my card back. Very good, and it's pretty much what I think I'm looking for in a deck. The only other things I've considered is going completely crazy, and I probably won't get to do it, is completely cutting this bottom section here. As you see, the Gogetas, this whole entire section here, to do what I was talking about and adding a skillless component, but entirely for blue. So cutting these 4 for just some blue 2-drops, adding the Goku here, adding 4 beans, and then that's pretty much it. Same exact deck, but now we have the ability to untap. I saw there was a red-blue version. I'm going to watch their video to see if I can combine the 2 deck ideas, and maybe we'll have the upcoming deck for the Invitational. So hopefully somebody else will be on launch, and we'll have some cool mirror matches for stream. You guys enjoy yourself, and give me a call if you need anything.